It's so hard to believe that it has been 12 months. It feels like this year has like really flown by. But based on common request, I decided today that I wanted to pop over and talk about my 1 year commitment to my vision. If you're new to this experiment that I did, I basically spent the last 12 months fully committing to my vision because for me, I'm like, what do I have to lose? I first learned about this experiment on the Manifestation Babe podcast, and it was really eye opening to me how she really just dedicated a year to herself. And I remember kind of keeping that in the back of my head. And then shortly after that, I read an article about the top 5 regrets of the people who are dying. And essentially, this article talks about regrets of people who are close to death and things that they wish that they had done. And the number one regret was living a life not aligned truly to themselves. And it really hit home for me this last year, where I realized that we buy into what society sells us. We buy into what other people think that we should do. And we often put our dreams and our visions on the back burner. And I was done with that. It felt like total confirmation when I listened to that podcast episode. And then I read this article. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give a year to myself wholeheartedly, confidently, and unapologetically. And that's exactly what I did. So today, I'm essentially going to sum up this year-long commitment, what I learned along the way, and what I was able to accomplish in just 365 days. Committing fully to my vision and to my dreams and the vow that I made to myself was very challenging. This year stretched me in ways that I didn't even know I could bend or stretch. And it pushed me in ways that I'm not sure that I was always ready for. But what happened was I realized how powerful it was. I realized how worth it was. And I honestly feel like this may have been one of the best commitments that I have ever made in my entire life. And all in all, I am so beyond impressed to see what I was able to do because I was willing to step out of my comfort zone, because I was willing to give it my all. And this is something that I like really, really plead with you to even give yourself a chance to try. And the reason that I say give it a try is because this experiment was so freaking magical. During the last year, I was able to launch my certification program and call in some amazing soulmate clients that I absolutely adore, and they are doing amazing things in this world. I published my Elevate Method manual, which is just changing lives left and right, which I'm so grateful for. I grew my YouTube channel. I grew my Instagram. I grew my podcast. I have been able to hire on 2 team members, which was really a growth point for me because that was something I was extremely fearful of. And I had my first 5-figure launch while resting. So one of the things that I did this year is I invested in a human design certification program, and I learned all about my design and how to align with my design. And I began to weave that into the Elevate Method as one of the modalities that you get certified in. And resting is a big part of my design. And it wasn't something that I ever gave myself permission to do because I always bought into the hustle and hard work is the only way you can earn money and hard work is the only way you can create success. But I allowed myself to rest, and aligning with my design was mind-blowing because I had one of my best launches ever simply by embracing that rest. So those are some ideas and insights into what happened, but even bigger than that, I really got in touch with myself in a unique way, and I grew in an expansive way, just investing in my personal development, aligning with my design, connecting with the right people, and it has been so amazing to really, really experience. The first takeaway that I had from this year is that I learned that people give up right before the finish line. Like, we are so quick and ready to throw in the towel right then and there. And I know what you're thinking, like, well, if I knew the finish line was there, I wouldn't give up. But that is what faith is. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase, trusting that each additional step will be illuminated for you, and trusting the process when it doesn't make sense, when it doesn't seem logical, when it doesn't add up, but just trusting that your intuition is guiding you to something for a purpose and on purpose. For me, there were moments where I needed to invest time, money, energy, and effort into things that I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I trusted. There were times where I made investments into things that weren't well, but I still used that quote unquote failure as an opportunity for feedback, as an opportunity for growth, as an opportunity to move in the right direction. And so don't be so ready to throw in that towel just because. And you know what? Oh my gosh, I get so excited because divine timing is intentional, right? And it may take until the 11th hour, but if you press through, It'll be so worth it. And I am not saying it's easy, right? This entrepreneurial journey is not for the faint of heart. But what I can say is that it's so worth it. The second and final takeaway that I had for the last 365 days to really sum it up is that the magic is not only in the decision, right? We made a decision to show up for our vision, but the magic is in the recommitment. And what I mean by that is you don't just commit when it's easy, when it's fun, when it's seamless, when all the T's are crossed, when all the I's are dotted. You commit even when it makes no sense, even when you're not sure that you can see the entire thing through, even when you're not sure that you're imagining things or that your intuition is leading you in the wrong way. That recommitment is what really matters. And that's where you continue to strengthen your resolve. That's where you continue to strengthen that resilience. That's where you continue to strengthen your thoughts and your beliefs and your growth around moving towards that vision. That recommitment is so powerful. And with that said, I want you to think about how can you recommit to your vision today? All in all, this experiment was so magical, so transformative. And I really have to say, this may have been one of the greatest decisions that I've ever made that has allowed me to grow and learn in ways that I wasn't even prepared could potentially happen. And so what I've decided is that even though I've hit 365 days, I'm not just going to wash my hands with this experiment. I'm going to see how I can dig deeper and continue to recommit on a daily basis, how I can continue to dig my heels in even harder to really prioritize this vision. Because what I've learned on this journey is my vision is so much bigger than me. And the same thing for you. Your vision is so much greater than what you can even possibly fathom right here and right now, because someone somewhere is waiting on you to do what it is that you're called to do. And your desires chose you for a reason. How can you show up for them? What I'd love for you to do is I'd love for you to join me for the next 365 days, and let's recommit to that vision again and again and again. That is what your future self will thank you for.